Good evening and welcome. I'm so glad to see so many of you here this evening. We usually don't have that many people in our audience, but it's reaffirming to know that people care and we're here doing your business. Okay, I'd like to call this regular bi-monthly town board meeting to order for Monday, October 23rd at 7:05 PM. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to begin this evening with a public hearing on a tax levy limit override for 2024 for fiscal 2024. A little background on that. Tax levy limit override. This is a standard operational point that town boards invoke, I guess might be the right word, or take advantage of. Basically, it allows us, while we're in the budgeting process, to consider a tax levy limit override. But as Deputy Supervisor Reichgott pointed out last meeting, override passing this doesn't mean we're shooting to spend a lot of money. But we're waiting for things like how much insurance plans cost. There's a lot of things that are outside of our control. So we need to get that information before we can set a fully operational budget for 2024. There's union contracts, all kinds of things that have to be considered. So the tax override limit just gives us that option. If we do not pass this, we could not invoke that option. So that's what that's all about. Can you add anything to that, Jay, Michelle, or anybody else? Jay, I'll start with you.
Well, the other thing that, one of the reasons we have to do this, it's on screen.
Okay.
The way the timing works to pass this local law and the way the timing works to pass a budget, you have to pass the law that allows you to exceed the cap before you know what the final budget's gonna be. So that's why we're doing it now.
You
And
wanna
I would,
add
I
anything?
would just add that we've done this just about every single year because it's just a step in the process you have to take. As, you know, as we all know, we don't know what the final numbers are gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the same, in 4 years, we've never had to do it, so don't expect to, we have to do it now.
But as you may know, the tax cap is 2%. Who here can raise their hand and say their expenses over the last year only went up 2%? Please raise your hand so I can figure out what you're drinking, so I can get a big bottle of it. No, it will be tough this year to keep something under 2%, but we have tried and been successful for the 4 years that I've been town supervisor. And I can assure you, we're all taxpayers as well. We want to keep the taxes as low as possible, but we have to deliver services and we have to provide benefits to employees. So I think we've explained what the strategy is, and I'm going to open a public hearing right now on the tax levy limit override. The hearing, now to hear from you, is opened at 7:10 PM by myself, Ken English. So now it's the time to hear from you guys. And I respectfully welcome any comment. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? What are you thinking? Please, Claudia. You have to, we use these microphones so people at home can hear. It's not to amplify your voice.
I just wanted to state that it's not unique to this administration. It has been done for years and years, not just the last 4 years. So it seems to be a very standard procedure to do that. It's never been anything to worry about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We do have people at home. Anybody want to raise your hand and make a comment? You're welcome to. Anyone else want to comment? Okay, I'll make a motion and ask for a second in a minute that all persons desiring to be heard, having been heard, the public hearing regarding introductory local law entitled Tax Levy Limit Override 2024 fiscal year be closed at 7:12 PM. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Seconded by Michelle Lindsay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. We have a long-awaited presentation by our Chief, John Trezino from Tuxedo Police Department. And John is going to lead us in an update as to activities at Tuxedo Police and preparation John has been leading our force in. And I'd just like to say, this town board has certainly been instrumental and behind the rebuilding of our police force. We actually added 4 new police officers in 2023, all of them experienced. None of them needed to go through what's called the police academy. And John will update us on all that. But we've heard you loud and clear, and we've taken actions that John will talk about. But John, take it away. You'll
Yes.
need that just to,
Well, you could just leave that one.
Hello, check, check. Hi, everybody at home. Hopefully you can hear me. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. As Town Supervisor said, this is a presentation that they requested that I put together, so I hope you enjoy. I welcome any comments, concerns, or questions. So basically, this is a recap of progress, new strategies that we have, updates, training, and capabilities that we are now up to. So I've been here for 12 months. For anybody that doesn't know me, hi, I'm the Chief of Police, John Trezino. I started a year ago, almost exactly. You should know who your Chief of Police is, so there's my background. I'm not here to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but the vast majority of my experience is in special operations, tactical world, and training other police officers. And so when I took over in 2022, that became a big focal point for what we were going to do as far as moving forward. So with full backing of the town board, we had some deep meetings about what my strategy was going to be and how we were going to move forward. So my strategy was 3 parts. One was increasing officer capabilities, each individual officer and as a department. The next was increased public knowledge and involvement with the department and the concerns of the community, having our finger on the pulse of the community as far as their concerns are. And the last one, which I think is just as important, is increased community center planning. So schools, businesses, anyone that has a concern that's not the general public, but those foundations of the community. I'll kind of touch on some of that a little bit later, but I include all emergency services with that. So as you guys get to know me, you'll see that I like to take problems and break them down into parts. And usually the number 3 is magic for me, right? So that was my strategy moving forward. So again, with full support of the town board, we jumped right onto the training of the officers almost immediately. So I put together a course, rapid deployment training in Tuxedo. We hosted it. We invited the surrounding police departments. So that way, not just our officers, but every officer in the area. We're all trained in the same strategies. We all have foundational training as it is as police officers, but that interoperability becomes huge because we have a lot of small police departments. And so with a major crisis, when something big happens, we have to have that interoperability between us and our neighboring police departments, whether it's the Tuxedo Park, Greenwood Lake, Harriman, anything like that. So we invited all these people here, multiple departments sent us their officers. So very successful. We also had the opportunity of using that training, because we were hosting it, to use our local critical infrastructure as the training grounds. So that provides us, our department, a huge benefit. So not only are they familiar with it as something that they're patrolled by every day, but now they're going through scenario-based, reality-based training in those critical infrastructure areas. So that's a huge step forward for them.
So John, that critical infrastructure, I was at one of your trainings
Yeah.
at the new sewer plant that has a lot of nooks and crannies to hide. Is that one of the trainings that you're referring to?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you had members from Orange County,
Oh, yeah.
Greenwood Lake. What other municipalities did you engage?
We had Greenwood Lake, Tuxedo Park, City of Middletown, Village of Walden, and we, you know, I'm still very close with the local police chiefs all over the county. So kind of benefit of having come from the county, I know a lot of those executives. So they sent us people from all over the place. It's very successful,
So not only are you building skills, but you're building relationships.
100%.
Thank you.
So, just to kind of make it, you know, palatable for everybody, I want to get into the weeds with what it was about. But, so you know, it is advanced training, all right? It's advanced tactical training. So again, they get out of the academy, and what we often see, and it happens with all emergency services, right? Once first responders get this base training, there is a problem if they don't continue training. That what they originally got becomes all that they ever get taught, right? And we don't want that. So we're lucky enough, you know, this day and age that everyone's taught, I hate to use the term, but active shooter training in the academy, right? So foundational training, but they don't continue with that. So what we did was we put rockets on it and went full bore, and so everybody got that advanced training. So, and it's not just for active shooter situations, which is why I don't really like to use that term. It's for any situation, inclusive of that. So, you know, it gives them those sound tactics, and it's not just tactics, okay? It's also the managing of the scene, which is huge. So, if anybody saw that we had a serious motor vehicle accident today, so that interoperability between the police and EMS, fire, and we had multiple departments there, that's all part of that, in the managing of those scenes, right? So now if it's something else, you know, heaven forbid, you know, something that's more than, say, one car or two cars or something like that, right? That we'd still be able to manage that, so. So the next part was public education. So I moved forward, we partnered up with Tuxedo School District, and I'm a graduate of George F. Baker, in case you didn't know that, so that wasn't a hard sell. So we partnered up with the school, and we held several active shooter instructional seminars. So this is huge for, again, first responder training. So we were able to get the fire departments and hold a seminar for them, and, you know, instructional training. Also for EMS, so now we have police, fire, and EMS all on the same page, right? But we were also able to get the general public one for them too, and then also for the students and the staff. So again, taking that big problem, breaking it down, what is everybody's particular role in that, right? And best actions for it. So that was a huge success. We're very proud of that. Also, that public education, you guys are used to it already. We have great cops here, and we're just continuing that tradition. So we keep strengthening our bonds with the kids in town. You know, they're the future of the community, right? So as long as, you know, the fire guys don't edge us out, they get fire week all the time, right? You know, let's get a couple cops in there too. You know, I love the fire and the EMS, but, you know, they always welcome us in there, and, you know, we do our mock crime scenes, like somebody stole a crayon or something like that. But, so that way they get to kind of understand our roles and everything. And, you know, we want the kids to look up to the police officers, right? So, you know, they are, you know, one of their first responding entities, right? And there was a time that they were seen as heroes. So the officers that we have up there do an outstanding job with it. They go there and read books to them and everything else. So every day, the police are at the school, every day. So it's not just a once in a while thing. So public events, and again, you guys are kind of used to this, but now this is something that's set in stone. Anytime there's a mass gathering in Tuxedo, if we're wanted there, the police will be there. And if we're not wanted there, but we find out about it, we're probably gonna be there, right? It's a mass gathering event, and we have a lot of people there, so we wanna make sure that everybody's safe. So, you know, we do our best to make sure that we know about them all, and, you know, like I said, if we hear about it, and we're just trying to catch up to it, Sorry we didn't hear about it, but I think we made them all this year, so. Unless you tell me I'm wrong. Vehicle and traffic, I know that's a big concern for everybody. So, we continue to enforce vehicle and traffic in our town to reduce violations, to reduce dangerous conditions. That's a huge problem. As you guys know, I don't have to explain the geography of the town of Tuxedo, right? We have a lot of varied geography here. So from towns to highways, to back roads, we've got it all. So, part of the enforcement of speed and dangerous driving reduces the likelihood of someone getting into a bad accident, right? So then we're all winners. And again, we know that we have a lot of people that don't live here passing through. So, right now, before anybody asks, just to let you know, we are in the midst of stepping up enforcement right now for speed enforcement. So all you people listening out there, yes, right? Yes, we are stepping up our speed enforcement right now. I won't say exactly where because that moves, okay? So, but slow down, do the speed limit, and nobody will have any problems. We do see a lot of accidents, and we are doing everything we can to reduce that, all right? It's for everybody's safety.
So, John, what are the goals of the traffic stop? I know many of them end in a violation, but how do you guide the officers on to how to handle traffic stops in general?
Well, it's a case-by-case basis. If you have somebody, egregiously breaking the speed limit, then the chances of getting a ticket are much higher, right? Or if it's a repeat that, I pulled the same person over, 3 times doing 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, chances are getting greater, getting a ticket. But it's also, going out there, letting people know that, hey, we're a reminder, slow down. Everybody kind of has a moment that they don't pay attention what they're doing, right? Something like that. As long as nobody gets hurt or something, a warning is fine. But, we're out there to remind people, hey, there's a reason that we have the speed limit and everything, and it's education, it's public education. A lot of people that don't live in Tuxedo don't understand, that speed trap that we call the Hamlet, right? It's not a speed trap. If you had a highway going through your main street, maybe you would want them to go 30 miles an hour as well, right? So, our school's right there, we have crosswalks there, we don't want people doing 55, 60.
And that's kind of the reminder we tried to put out there with these speed detecting signs out there. We can gather data as to the volume of infractions, the times of the day.
Yep.
And certainly, I notice when people pass them and they are going faster than the speed limit, they do definitely motivate people to slow down and.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I get a lot of feedback from the community, and I always welcome that. I try to answer every email I get. I try to answer every message that's left to me. I can't promise I get to them all, but I do try. And those signs in particular, I had a lot of people say that, it kind of snaps them out of, they're commuting the same, 30, 50 miles, whatever it is a day, and they're kind of in the zone, and then all of a sudden it says, hey, you're speeding, right? Or something like that. So they are very effective.
But even now, we have one in Laurel Ridge on Sylvan Way, and, it's a downhill when you're leaving the community, which is easy to get up to 45 miles an hour without a blink of an eye. And, it's just another reminder, hey, look, there's people that live on Sylvan Way, and, hopefully people aren't driving by 45 miles an hour on a road that certainly can't handle that, especially with that incline, so.
And that's a great point. It wasn't built for people to go that fast. Just because our vehicle can do it doesn't mean we should do it, right? So, did I say hand? Yes, sir.
Do we have anything now that can check these people when you stop them smoking marijuana, what the legal limit is? Can we check them?
So that's something I would like to discuss with you when I'm not on camera and everything, because I don't want to give out information on how to get away with things. So, law enforcement's catching up to the fluidity of our laws in some cases, but yes is the easy answer. Yes, sir.
Chief Trezino,
Hold on.
I just,
Anyone?
I can,
Remember, we need a
Oh,
microphone for everyone.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to also, so I know that you worked with the Palisades Park, the park police this summer. There was a big issue of speeding on 106 and motorcycles and things like that. And the people that are in those camps, and some of them are kids, they were really worried. And you did such a great job working with them, answering to them, and actually reducing the speed. And, I go there a lot, and I actually saw it, that there was like a reduction in, the motorcycles and all that stuff. So, yeah, so that was really good, working together, telling them what they had to do to, when you guys are, how to contact the park police and work with them. So that was really great.
Thank you very much.
Are we doing, you ready for questions now?
As Tuxedo Farms gets built and populated, what do you anticipate it'll do to the size of the police force?
So that's going to depend on the growth rate and how big it actually gets. I can't give a number right now.
Approved about 1,500 units.
Well, eventually, right? So that's going to take some time for that to happen. I think that naturally the police department will grow as the town grows, right? So 1,500 units is essentially another village. So, will the department grow? I'm sure, but it's not going to be 1,500 right away,
No, it'll take 3 years.
right?
John, I wonder if you could explain the normal patrol schedule of the department for each shift. Today was an example of a 911 call with all hands. Normally during a normal day, you've got 2 officers on 2 cars. How does that work?
If you could just hold that question for another 2 minutes.
I will hold
see if
that
I
question.
Anybody else yet? Yes?
I just had a quick question. Are
Yes,
we
ma'am.
going to meet the new officers?
I'm sorry, say again?
The new police officers?
Yeah.
Who are they?
So they were supposed to be in today, but a few of them got sick. So we, for concern for public safety, we canceled bringing them in today. Next meeting. So, Ed kind of touched on this, so regional partnerships. So that training, that interagency training that we had, kind of helped us build these bridges that we already had to begin with, right? So now, we're implementing, first of all, we already implemented, I should say, a local law which streamlines the process in requesting or granting mutual aid between the police departments. So, I don't know if everybody's aware of this, I know some of you are, because I know some of you are in emergency services, but fire departments, it's very normal for, even today at the car accident, we had multiple fire departments there, right, and it comes very naturally. If I told you a year ago that no police departments have that standing right now, it was just kind of done, but there was no process for us to do it, right? So it's an amazing thing, and so when I found that out, I said, hey, we need to make a local law to streamline it. Immediately, we put it together, now we have that local law, so that process, and then not only us, but the other departments around us did the same thing. So now we're able to easily, very quickly, get those other agencies involved, and that's a huge step forward. As you see there, that was one of our scenes where we had multiple departments there, and, as always, when we call for fire EMS, that's never the issue. We're calling for more officers to come and help us. That was the big one. So that departmental training and operational status is huge for modern policing. So some of the examples that we saw over the past year where we use those partnerships, we had an assault / abduction attempt that happened in Woodbury Commons. And we quickly jumped in on that. Multiple agencies were able to get that suspect. Not so long after that, we had 3 suspects who burglarized a store in Greenwood Lake. and then tried to get away back to their home base, south of us. Big lights and Empire State Building down there. So, they tried to go through Tuxedo, we stopped them here, they went running into the mountains, and we got all of them. We had what's called an extreme risk protection order successfully served after a joint investigation with us and the Orange County District Attorney's Office. We executed a federal search warrant with a federal agency, narcotics warrant, to remove an alleged narcotic manufacturing location in Tuxedo. Training delivered to several departments and multiple first responders. Multiple cooperative traffic enforcement details as evidenced throughout the Ren Fair, another big topic everybody has. Ongoing cooperative investigations. Anytime we have an investigation, we will partner up with who we need to find the bad people and get them out of this town. It's that simple. And ongoing intelligence sharing, which in today's news and everything else, you see how important that is.
Chief, may I
Yes.
ask a question? Can you talk a little bit about how the 911 system is helping with all of these regional partnerships? Because when I was up at Orange County, the emergency center, it's amazing when you see all the monitors and the people at computers.
Coordinated effort, yeah.
Coordinating. So can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about that new system?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know if anybody's ever had a chance to be up at the 911 center, but it looks like the Starship Enterprise is kind of landing. And you go in there, huge screens, you've got the entire county and, arguably a little bit more, up on the maps and whatnot, interactive. So you can see where all the emergency services are and everything. So basically what happens in a life-threatening emergency, right? A lot of people have this question, when do I call 911? Well, if you have a small fire on your pan, on your stove, and you're able to put it out, you wouldn't call 911 for that, right? You would act. But if that fire spread and is now spreading in your kitchen, you would call 911, right? Because it's becoming dangerous. It's a life-threatening emergency. So it's the same for us with, criminal, prosecution, stuff like that, and enforcement. So if you have somebody knocked over your mailbox, that's not really a 911 call. But if it's a life-threatening, or potentially dangerous situation, you absolutely want to call 911. So I can't tell you when to do it, but I can tell you that's when you do it, right? Now with that call goes up to the county, right? It goes up on a big screen, their spaceship screen up there, and they send the 3 closest cars to that emergency, okay? So let's say that you see a bad guy out of a cartoon holding the classic, round bomb with the fuse going or something like that, right? That's an obvious 911 call, right? So the 3 closest cars will get pulled out to that 911 call for law enforcement, all right? Now, that's normally gonna be your local departments. There could, maybe there's a state trooper that's close to it and, that's one of the 3 cars or something. Now, all the other departments hear that, as long as they're doing what they're supposed to, having their radios on scan, which we all do, so that way, say Greenwood Lake hears that, oh, wow, Tuxedo's going to a really dangerous call, maybe I should see if they need help or something like that. But the three cars get assigned to the closest. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? So it's a very efficient system. It took a while to kind of like get it to become the norm. I shouldn't say up and running because it's been running for a while, but to become the norm. And it does work very well. The best part is that because everyone has access to hearing that, again, like I used River Lake as an example, so they're a couple mountains away from us, right? They hear that we're having a problem here, they go and start preparing to send us help, and that's really important. We don't, you don't want to send one cop to a bank robbery, right, or something like that. So, before that system was in place, the next town would be surprised that, oh, you guys got robbed, or something like that. So, a great example was that the 3 suspects who had robbed the store in Greenwood Lake, and we ended up getting them in Tuxedo. Well, that's because of the 911 system. We heard that, and were able to immediately set up where we knew that they'd be coming from, and it worked out very well.
But also the 911, like today you had a bad traffic accident. They're gonna dispatch everybody that's needed, ambulance, fire, police, and so it's one-stop shopping then, right?
Yeah, so what happens is that you have a call taker, takes that call, so somebody dials 911, hey, there's an accident, at this place, and immediately that starts getting sent from that call taker out to the other emergency services, right? So now you have other dispatchers, so it's like a layered system. So, say fire needs more information, they're not gonna get back to the person that's on the phone with, the civilian that's on their cell phone and say, hey, well, we need to know, another road or something like that. They're handling that separately. They say, hey, you've got an emergency here, it's a car accident, let's immediately send EMS and fire as well as police. So it all happens at the same time.
Thank you.
Okay, so I kind of alluded to this, intelligence. So the Tuxedo Police Department has increased our intelligence gathering capabilities. We assigned a field intelligence officer who's tasked with keeping abreast of current threats to security, including terrorism, violent criminality, and regional crime trends. So with that, we became a partner agency with NYPD Intel Division, the Hudson Valley Crime Analysis Center, and both New York State NICIC and FBI. So we have the most current criminal intelligence and any kind of threat intelligence that we could possibly get right now. So that's a big step forward for us. And that's a daily, not just me, but our intel officer, and we share that and make sure that everybody all has that, and we send it to our partner agencies, especially those that are right around us, to make sure they're getting it too. Community input. So Tuxedo PD initiated programs to proactively seek input from the public to inform us of their concerns, their complaints, suspicions, and suggestions. There's an example I put up there on our Facebook page, that Join the Posse wanted poster that I made. I love getting input from the community, I really do. It doesn't mean that every suggestion that is put to me is something that we can do, but I love getting the input. And if it's something that we can't do, usually I'd say, hey, if you want to stop by for a cup of coffee, we'll talk about it, I'll explain it to you. I love having discussions with people. Like Ms. May said, we were getting phone calls for drag races and motorcycle races over the summer, over by the camp. Well, that's in the town of Tuxedo, but that portion is primarily patrolled by the New York State Park Police. So they didn't understand that. And, why aren't you guys, over here doing this and everything was kind of, the first thought on it. And then when I explained to them, well, we'll come there, no problem. But this is why you don't see us over there. So, just that free flow of information between the community and the police department, I think goes a long way to kind of dispel, any, any veiled secrecy or anything like that. So our first and foremost goal is to serve the public. So based on the interaction with and demand from the public, the town worked very hard to select only the finest officers that came before us and to bring on board in order to return your police department to its full-time 24-hour status. So we are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, fully staffed. As of October 14th. So we heard a lot of public concern over the lack of patrols, extreme delayed police response, or sometimes no response. That's been overcome. And I want to make sure that any of my friends in the state police or the county out there don't think that in any way I'm disparaging them. I'm not. It's not easy to patrol an entire county or an entire state, right? There's a reason why local police departments exist. So state police, county sheriffs, we're all called first responders, but when I was deputy sheriff, I understood that I probably wasn't going to be the first responder, right? That the local police are really the first responders. So if there's a deputy 30 miles away and a state trooper 30 miles away, and there's suddenly a call in town of Tuxedo, we didn't have a local police officer on, that's that delayed response. They're trying to come from far away. And by the time they would get here, it was already resolved, or, you know, whatever the case may be, and that's that no response, they never showed up. Well, that's because by the time we got here, it was, no, it's no longer called for it. So that's done. We're here, we're not going anywhere. So our residents are now assured that your local police are now proactively patrolling the town and immediately dispatch any of the emergencies that we have.
Have one question from
Yes,
Sue?
sir. Microphone, go.
Microphone?
The question of dispatch and calls that people make that are not 911 relevant calls. We no longer have a dispatcher in town, a particular person serving that. Will the 24-hour coverage of police be able to respond to those kinds of calls that people make saying there's a problem, but I don't think it needs 911? Or
So-
do we need a dispatch person?
Yes, so there's a couple of parts to this answer. So, yes, we're 24/7 again, and we do have more officers on. Part of that community outreach that I'm doing is making sure that everybody also has our email address. That's like our tip line, right? So if you have some suspicious activity or something like that, even if, the worst case scenario, when you call the police department and nobody's there to answer, if you send that email, one of us is gonna read that, and it always gets forwarded to me, right? So I'm definitely gonna get that tip. As far as calling the police department, we do have a plan for that. I don't know if dispatchers is really the direction that we need to go, because we do have the 911 system, but having personnel that are stationed in the police department, I think is gonna be another step forward. You know, it's this juggling that we have to do. So if I have a few police officers on, I don't wanna keep one in the station to answer maybe if the phone rings, when they should be out there keeping bad guys outside of our town, right? So, yes.
Just to follow up on what Sue said. Just to follow up on what she said, is that when I do call the non-emergency number,
Yeah.
and each time I do, I always have to look it up online and Google it and see what that number is, find it. And then I expect to get local, and I think it still goes to the state.
Right
And it's
now-
something so silly like,
Right.
how's like the Ren Fair traffic, like can I get out of my home today? Because
So-
I've had that problem for the past, during the whole Ren Fair.
Of the top 3 complaints that I fielded in my 12 months as the police chief, that's number 1. Ren Fair traffic.
Yeah, it wasn't good this year.
Right. Number 2 is, answering the phone and having that local connection to the community. So we are working together very hard to come up with a plan for that. It's something that is not being overlooked, it's not being shoved away, it's, we're not sweeping it under the rug or anything like that. We're trying to come up with the best plan possible to, our goal is to serve the public. So we're just trying to figure out what the best way forward is gonna be with that, but it will be addressed.
Have you considered maybe just getting an answering service?
I don't know that an answering service would change anything. It would just be the same as when the call rolls over to 911, right? It's still, you want to speak to me or one of the officers here or something like that, where if it just rolls over to like a doctor's
Like a
office.
non-emergency.
Right, well, it ends up being just like the doctor's office where, you call up and, you get some strange person on the other end of the phone. We haven't really fixed anything. And what we're trying to do is actually, fix it, to move forward and, figure out what the best way forward is. Instead of moving to the side, which is kind of like what that answering service would be, just like another version of what we have. We want to know, let's go forward. So we're gonna figure it out, and it's not gonna take very long.
Well, I could just let you know that as recently as this week, was in conversations with the chief, looking to identify a position that there's somebody in the office, basically business hours. And yeah, if you needed to leave a non-emergency call, where would that message go and how would it be responded to the next day? So that's something we're working on right now. And as the chief said, that isn't going to be a uniformed police officer. It's going to be some type of clerical position. So we're working that out actually right now to maximize communication with the public, but have the appropriate person has other tasks in the police department other than just waiting for the phone to ring.
So, bringing up the Ren Fair. So the police department in the town also listens to the public concern over seasonal traffic. We partnered with the Renaissance Festival, Ren Fair, to develop new strategies for traffic and safety. So what we did was we refocused our efforts from what used to be trying to mitigate traffic to now focus on reducing traffic. And how do we do that? Because we don't have less cars. So we reduce traffic by getting the vehicles off the roads and onto the fair property, right? That's where they're trying to go. So if we're able to do that quicker and more efficiently, then that gets them off the roads, right? So that's why we had to partner with the Ren Fair, and they were very receptive to, you know, working out these strategies with us. You know, they did do a lot over there, and also to help accomplish that on our side, we ended up creating a new position, traffic guards. And we have traffic guards out there that it allows us to kind of amplify our footprint, right, and get those cars moving. So it's impossible to eliminate the traffic, guys. Like, I've lived here my whole life, and I've had to mitigate, you know, the traffic and know that, all right, it's Ren Fair season, so do I want to go this way, or, you know, something like that. Once you know it's there, you have to know it's going to be there. No different than when apple pickers are on their way through Tuxedo to go to Warwick. It has nothing to do with the town of Tuxedo, but we're going to have to, you know, say, hey, there's going to be traffic there. So knowing that, we attack it head on and say, nope, let's get it moving so we can take care of what's happening here. Now, the flow of traffic, the rate of the flow of traffic this year was much higher than last year and previous years, okay? And the wait times were much less. Now, there are specific days that we have no control over, i.e. Apple Fest, right? That has nothing to do with the town of Tuxedo or anything that's going on within our borders. But when Apple Fest comes, on a busy day at the Ren Fair, you've got, you know, this many people, right? Then you add Apple Fest that has 3 times that amount that go there. So that means 3 to 4, maybe even 5 times the amount of people trying to go through that corridor. That's why the traffic happened on that weekend that I got the most complaints about. And there's nothing that we can do about that other than put extra personnel on. And not only do we have extra personnel on, I was in constant contact with the other police chiefs in the surrounding jurisdictions and making sure they had extra personnel on, that the county and the state, everybody had extra people on, trying to do the same thing, just get the traffic moving, get them to where they have to go, all right? Best thing that I can tell everybody as far as that is, again, my whole life I planned around these events.
So I just want to say, over the last 3 years, we went from basically Tuxedo PD managing this problem. We added Orange County sheriffs, New York State troopers, and this year we hired 6 traffic agents that we trained and reported to Tuxedo PD. They were not working for the Ren Fair. And all of these details are paid for by the Ren Fair. Every penny. We asked them for a $20,000 escrow account before they even started to make sure that we were not paying for any of this. So all of this added help did not cost the taxpayer 1 cent. Little applause for that one. Thank you.
So, a lot of the calls and messages I've been getting recently, over the past week or so, has been due to current events. So, due to recent events in Israel and the menace of terrorist threats in the U.S., we've received lots of emails, texts, phone calls. So, nobody can look into the crystal ball, right, and really pull out what we want. But this was why 12 months ago we started what we started doing. We have taken these steps highlighted in yellow. We augmented the taxable police training and their capabilities, every officer that we have on the department. first responder, not police, but fire and EMS, their active shooter training and their management of those scenes and what their roles are in those scenes and how to integrate with law enforcement to better control one of these scenes. Public education and programs, so that way the general public knows what strategies are for them to do and what their role is. With that is the crime reporting, our community outreach programs, trying to get those messages, those texts, those emails, those phone calls, anything we can to address the concerns. Establishing and strengthening those police partnerships that we have, the county, with the state, but most importantly, around us with the local PDs as well. Proactive policing initiatives, we're out there, we're patrolling, we're looking, we are doing our jobs. We're pushing any bad elements, they don't want to come here. We want to make it, unpalatable for them to come here, right? And that's the important thing, security 101. Enhanced intelligence capabilities, something that, maybe 10 months ago, somebody would say, why is Tuxedo PD, partnering with the NYPD Intelligence Division? Because of what we're seeing today on the news, that's why, right? So if every single cop, I don't care what size department they work for, does their job, then this would be a really safe country, wouldn't it? So we're doing our part. And the last part being the enhanced response capabilities. So whether that's rescue, medical, criminal, whatever those, the emergency is that we're being tasked with responding to, our people are being trained and outfitted to be able to take on whatever task is at hand. So, just to let everybody know, the Tuxedo Police Department is on high alert and we will never back away from our sacred mission to protect our people. Your police force is experienced, they're well trained, they're equipped, and they're prepared. We remind, most importantly, our citizens that you are the eyes and ears of the community. It's not just our job. You have a role to play too. Be our partners, work with us, call us, let us know when there's something wrong. If it ends up being nothing, then it's nothing. If it's something important, then we've got that, right? So again, we don't want to rely upon the crystal ball. We need input from the community. We work for you. I'm a civil servant, right? So I serve you. The police all serve you. We need input from you. So that's really important, and we keep trying to make sure that message is out there. So looking forward to the future, public concerns over emergency incidents, weather events, terrorist threats, criminal activity, coupled with past incidents of missing persons, lost hunters, injured hikers, woodland or waterborne accidents, fugitive searches, which I know I saw a lot of nodding heads out there, one that we had not too long ago. That's led us to create a new multi-jurisdictional search and rescue team. So our members in Tuxedo PD, along with partnering departments out of Tuxedo Park and Greenwood Lake, have been training, and we will respond to the region to provide the very best response possible in the worst of environments. This will strengthen the capabilities of all emergency services, not just the police, but when I was a young volunteer fireman, I went to all kinds of calls up in the Appalachian trails and everything for injured hikers and hunters and stuff like that, right? So I know our fire brothers and sisters, EMS, also go out there with all this. Well, we're going to be able to now provide that, the first law enforcement search and rescue force that I know of in this region, at least in generations. So helping with that overall search and rescue capability, but then you also have the ones like we have those 3 fugitives in the woods that we wouldn't want to send fire or EMS into right away, right? So having the 3 departments partner up, and we already have other departments asking about getting involved in that as well. We're looking for state and federal funding through grants and things of that nature for that. So that's where we're trying to move to in the future. Whether we're talking about, we have a blizzard and somebody needs medication and we have a blackout and trees are down, nobody can get to it, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to that house. We're going to deliver that medication. Somebody's hurt, we're going to get there. There's no stopping it. Because right now, if we had that call with no training, guess what? We'd be huffing it through the snow. That's our job. But what we're trying to do is do it more professionally with the proper gear and the proper training. Microphone. Yes.
I just had a quick question. It came to my attention not long ago that we have not one, not two, but 3 billboards with guns, advertising guns within a mile of our local public school. I drive by there every day, all day. I don't even notice it, don't even see it anymore. But it was my 15-year-old that said, "Gee, Mom, don't you think that's a little strange?" So my question is, can you or will you work with our local towns to, is there any way to limit the exposure, the blatant guns when the school bus drives by every morning and every afternoon?
Well, I won't leave the chief to try to handle that one. It's the old First Amendment, the constitutional right to, it's certainly beyond the purview of a town board, but, Kelly, if I had my way, it wouldn't be allowed, but
I want to ask our police
you can ask the police chief.
And I echo it, because my 12-year-old also, but he's going on with his gun sign, and that's, the store is in close proximity to where we live. When the kids see it, we get
So-
used to it, but it's not okay.
I hope that you can appreciate my answer, that when I am in uniform, I am apolitical, I enforce the law. There's no law being broken. But there's nothing more I can say about that. So,
Kimberly has her hand raised, and I think she needs the microphone.
Can the town board as an ordinance, so our town is not allowed to have McDonald's in here. So then if there are certain rules that say we can't have a franchise or McDonald's or something like that, then why can't the town board make a rule and say we can't have billboards that, display guns?
Well, we have a town attorney here, and if you want to tackle that one, go for it. You need a microphone as well.
Can you repeat that?
Well, let me take a stab at the first part of it. Billboards are not allowed by code in the town of Tuxedo. All of the billboards on Route 17, we have no jurisdiction over because it's a state road. The part that Amy will now tell you about the question of whether we can ban or whether anyone can ban a particular content on a sign, the short answer to that question is no, unless I'm very much mistaken.
The short answer is no, I think you're correct. Sign regulations are really supposed to be limited to what's called time, place, and manner. So that would be, like where the sign is, how big the sign is, what materials it's made of, how it's attached to something. All of these things are issues that do not actually affect the content or the viewpoint of the sign, the speaker of the sign. This is a First Amendment issue. It comes up all the time in zoning and other local laws. Does that answer the question?
all right, so moving forward into the future, by next summer, we strive to improve our public warnings from impending excess traffic, especially on days that we can predict. So days like Apple Fest, I know that I can improve, I know that the police department can improve, and we're looking to do that. So now that we have this season behind us where I feel that we did improve from the years before, we're not done, all right? And I think that's really important. We're going to find a way, whether we say, hey guys, please go on our Facebook page and look at the Tuxedo Police Department page, and we'll put up when we think there's going to be traffic. It's hard to predict when there's going to be a certain amount of people at the Ren Fair, okay? But we could certainly say Apple Fest is coming, all right? So find another way around. If you didn't know, it's on this date, right? So we're also going to make sure that we continue to seek improvements for our response to the community's needs. So again, please reach out to us, And again, you wanna stop by and have a cup of coffee with me, come on over. All right, it's your police department. We'll sit there, we'll talk. If I'm not in uniform, you can pick my brain about any topic you want, but don't hold it against me, all right? But I won't do that in uniform, it's just not fun. But please, absolutely, everybody should have our email address. If you don't, I'll make sure you get it. So we're gonna continue to take actionable suggestions from the public for consideration. Notice the word actionable, all right? I love and appreciate all the input I could possibly get. But again, not everything that you say is something that's actionable, okay? So I'll give you an example. I've had a lot of people suggest for the Ren Fair traffic, and I understand they say the same thing. Why don't we just open a lane for through traffic only? It's impossible. You can't do it. And today, at a serious car crash, we had all that traffic to deal with, and we're trying to leave a lane open to get emergency vehicles in. And you know what all those drivers do? These aren't tourists. These are people that live here and drive through every day. They crowd that lane immediately because they could get one more car length ahead, right? Now, think of where all of our tourists are coming from, right? The New York City metropolitan area. Have you ever seen traffic in New York City or the surrounding area? Do they ever just listen to the cones or let people in or anything like that? So if we try to leave that one lane open like that, we'll have a whole other lane that's jammed up. Now, we would have to pull police off of trying to make that traffic move, off that to enforce that lane. Now we don't have enough cops doing what we need to do to make sure that traffic is moving. So it's this law of, unintended consequences, right? So, again, it's a suggestion that I used to say all the time, but now I understand, no, that's not gonna work. So I love the ideas, please keep throwing them at me. If it's not actionable, I'll tell you, say, you know what, I don't think that's gonna work and this is why. But keep thinking outside the box, and please keep sending them to us, all right? Above all, the Tuxedo Police Department will continue to provide the best possible service to our residents and visitors whose safety is our responsibility. Questions? Jerry, go ahead.
Chief, I've talked to you about this a number of times. Every weekend during Ren Fest, you have 2 solid lanes of traffic going south, without a doubt. And then you have 2 lanes coming north that might be breaking the speed limit. You have Company 1 and T-back in that zone. How do you get somebody to be able to get a fire engine or an ambulance car south?
The easy answer is that when we have our big red trucks with the big red lights on it, people move. Right? You see it, a fire truck coming, and we had it happen today. While we're trying to get there and all that traffic we're dealing with, people will move for emergency vehicles. And if they don't, then I will pull one of the cops off and we will get that person for every violation we can for putting people's lives in danger. This is where we live, we're not going to deal with that. So, but I didn't invent the roads, I didn't build the roads, neither did you, neither did anybody in this room, right? The mountains, the flats, everything we have here was not our design. We have to work with what we have, and we're doing it.
Can we get the town of Ramapo involved?
They are involved, 100%.
It doesn't seem that way, but.
You go to their town board meeting. It has nothing to do with me, buddy, I'm sorry, all right? I can't put pressure upon them, I'm in contact with them, but, I can only control the police within Tuxedo. And, our partners that help us out, it's a partnership. State police and deputies that come here, they fall under us when they're here, and we all work together. We have pre-operational meetings every single day of the Ren Fair. We get there early, we figure out how many people are coming, what the traffic is likely to be. There's a lot that goes into this that a lot of people don't understand. And then we have a pre-operational briefing, and we figure out where the best places are for the people for that day. And not even that day, for that few hours, and where the traffic is gonna move to, right? Because during the day, it's not always just north and south, that flips eventually, right? So it's not as easy as just kind of saying 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of moving pieces here.
We've taken a lot of other steps also. We've limited the amount of tickets the Ren Fair can sell. If you noticed that the last weekend that we had them put up signs, no more tickets to be available, to try to avoid the Woodstock syndrome, where everybody shows up. We had a lot of rain this year, so the weekends that were open, yeah, they were to full capacity, but we limited the number of tickets they were allowed to sell and asked them to track, I think, most, if not, can't say the exact percentage, but most of the tickets were sold online so that they can manage the amount of tickets that were sold. But again, the weather kind of made a few of the weekends extremely overloaded. But, you know, the Ren Fair staff have been actually very cooperative. All the electronic signs we asked them to put in 2 years ago, all paid by them. You know, they cover all the costs. And every year we try to get it better and better, which we have. We really have. People at Bramertown Road could certainly tell you that we blocked off Bramertown Road to avoid people sneaking in the back way. Then they find a freaking dirt road to go back on, and the chief blocked that one off. And I think there were a few donkeys coming over the hill that we had animal control deal with. But no, all joking aside, we did take it very seriously. I live on 17A, so I experience it myself. So I just want to say, Chief, thank you for this presentation. We do have an agenda that we need to move forward. So in closing,
Take a picture of that email address.
we'll have it on our town website.
Yeah, I was gonna
You
say.
will not miss it. That will be the screen for tomorrow or something. It will be up there. You will find it. I guarantee it. So again, thank you, Chief Trezino, for working with us so closely. We're in good hands, let's put it that way. All right, I'm gonna switch gears here now. I want to keep this on the high-level overview of services to the town. We started with Chief Trezino about police. I'm gonna take about 7 minutes of your time to explain a high-level view of what I've been doing over the last 4 years, working with the town board. So, Chief, if you want to run for the hills, this would be the time, otherwise. Hang out for 10 minutes because I got some stuff I'd like you to hear as well, all right? All right. This is the Tuxedo Town Supervisor's update. I'd like to start out, esteemed Tuxedo neighbors. I'd like to take this opportunity to update you on the issues that are facing our town and the actions taken to address these concerns. I'd like to briefly summarize the journey over the last 4 years. The progress this town board has made is undeniable. I'm so proud to call Jay Reichgott, Michelle Lindsay, Maria May, and Deirdre Murphy my town board colleagues. We give it our all. And the progress, I've heard since I moved here 20 years ago that nothing happens in Tuxedo. No development, no improvements to our town center, no new residents to support the Tuxedo Union Free School District, etc. I was told it would be a miracle if Tuxedo Farms came to be. Well, I'm here to tell you the miracle has happened. After almost 2 years of negotiations, we were able to execute an agreement that kept related negotiating while we came up with a plan that works for the town and the developer. Lennar, the nation's largest builder of quality homes, was engaged by Related and now has bought the property just last month. That's no smoke and mirrors. They invested tens of millions of dollars in the property already. They are before the planning board every month submitting the real plans for building. You're welcome to come to any of those meetings to find out for yourself. Related is still a major partner and will build the new town center called the Commons. This will offer residents a new mixed-use commercial area, which includes retail, hospitality, and services in high-end apartments. It will also provide a municipal building with meeting space for 250 people that will accommodate town board and community meetings. So I always get the question, so when will the construction begin? Well, the necessary preparations for spring construction are happening right now. Filling and grading work that's needed to start construction is ongoing. The sewer and water pipes for the first neighborhoods are in the ground. Many of the streets are already laid out. We're poised for action. You can clap for that. You've been waiting 30 years, so I think, a little applause every now and then might be warranted. Other benefits of Tuxedo Farms, along with the special permit we approved last year, $2,500,000 in cash was given to the Tuxedo Union Free School District, and 40 acres of property worth a lot of money. In order for the school to survive, like any public school, you need property tax dollars and kids. The Tuxedo Farms development will deliver both and be very cash positive to the school district. From the beginning of our negotiations, this town board insisted that the promises made to the school in 2015 must be honored. Related tried hard to remove these. We got it done amidst rising interest rates and a deteriorating housing market, just in the nick of time. Additionally, the town received hundreds of acres of pristine forest from Related along Warwick Brook Road and Long Meadow Road, now in conservation forever, protecting our parklands for all to enjoy. We also got $1,100,000 additional money for the Tuxedo Local Development Corporation, we call the LDCs, a town agency from Related and Lennar to revitalize the Hamlet Business District. Have you been driving up and down Route 17? There are 5 projects on Route 17 underway right now. The train station is being totally renovated with $140,000 from Lennar, saving taxpayers big bucks. The old Orange Top Diner will be totally renovated and should have a new tenant very soon. The Tuxedo Historical Society was gifted the old Chase Bank building thanks to THS, Tuxedo Historical Society, Betty Langberg's dogged persistence, and the Tuxedo LDC. There's Betty. Stand up, Betty. Stand up. Wait, there's more. Wait, there's more.
sign went up. I haven't even
I didn't even see it yet. I can't
I
wait
saw
to
it.
drive. I've been working here since 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll be sure to stop when I go by. So, the Tuxedo Historical Society was gifted the old Chase Bank building. And the Tuxedo LDC provided over $100,000 of matching funds, which is being used to totally restore this architectural gem. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. You, Billy Mency, and the team have done an amazing job. You can clap again for that. Sorry?
Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have our CO.
Can't wait to be the first person through that door. Additionally, the Carlin Warehouse building is also undergoing a major facelift necessary to attract a new tenant. Right now, it's being held up because the power lines were set up too close to the building, but we're doing everything possible to make sure that that project is finished. They would have been done by now if it wasn't for the location of the power lines, but that will be rectified, I guarantee you. Other actions taken that will build our tax base. In the south end of town, a new Skylight Assembly business is coming to Sterling Mine Road that will bring a $3 million state-of-the-art commercial building. This building is architecturally beautiful with an expansive landscaping plan, and it will bring dozens of well-paying jobs to Tuxedo. When's the last time that happened? It will bring real tax dollars with minimal traffic. That abandoned eyesore there now will be demolished very soon. And we avoided high traffic options that would have drastically changed that area. We also lowered your taxes by reassessing all New York State parklands. The state pays much more, so our share is much less. We did this through a comprehensive assessment of all New York State Park properties in Tuxedo. Here it is. Here's the comprehensive review. Looks like a Manhattan telephone book, right? Every New York State property was reassessed. Some of them went up, some of them went down. And when the state saw that this was a fair assessment, you know what they did? They just paid the taxes. You can applaud for that one, because this town board got that done. And also, who have also benefited that? The two school districts get a lot more tax revenue, both Monroe, Woodbury, and Tuxedo Union Free School Districts. Because for those of you who don't know, we have two school districts in Tuxedo, okay? Now, on the environment, who moved here for the beautiful forest and the kind of place that we all want to live? I can't believe every hand isn't up, because that's why I moved here. So on the environment, we protected the environment. We're cleaning up 10,000 truckloads of construction debris that was dumped on our town property. I suspect in the dead of night on the Tuxedo Highway Department site. That happened before I took office in 2020. But I can tell you, on the day I became supervisor, Rob Dolbaum and I took every truck in the highway department and surrounded the area so not one more bloody truck can get in there and dump any more garbage on our property. Okay, Rob Dolbaum, the highway superintendent, I don't know, he's here almost every meeting. I know he wasn't feeling well. And his team literally have moved a mountain of debris. I wanted to bring a bucket to show you what this debris is. We're not talking about leaves and sticks. We're talking about construction debris. We're talking about stuff that's toxic. We're talking about bricks. We're talking about plastic. I'll give you a tour any day you want to go over there. And if you saw the mountain that was moved and what's been done, give a real big round of applause for Rob Dolbaum and the guys who are doing that every day. And that team literally moved a mountain of debris, meeting every expectation of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. And we're under a consent order that has the threat of putting a $3,000 a day fine on this town if we didn't deal with that. $3,000 a day, Monday through Sunday, every day. That's a potential of $1 million fine a year if we didn't clean that up, okay? They've screened tons and tons of material, separating the rocks, the concrete, the wood, the various plastics, the debris into process piles for disposal. The job is nearing completion. We've been working on it for 4 years. This property is in the center of our watershed. These actions protect our drinking water. And I'll say especially people who live in Tuxedo Park. The Warwick Brook starts over there, flows down along Warwick Brook Road, and empties into the Weewa and your drinking water. So cleaning that up has protected your interest. These actions protect our drinking water. We've shut down any further chance to harm this town-owned property. Shut it down. Yeah, I think so. Okay, we bought 27 acres of undeveloped forest on the Indian Kill Reservoir on Route 17A and at the county tax auction, protecting our drinking water and saving it from developers. I got a call one day did you know I got a notice from Orange County Real Property that the tax sale, they tell the town what town properties are up for sale. When I saw that 27 acres, we got together and said, you know what? We got to buy that 27 acres and protect our drinking water. And we did that and got it done in I'm going to say something, a Brooklyn adjective, but we got it done in 1 week. And we bought it for back taxes, 27 acres for $106,000. We protected your drinking. And we're developing, also on the environment, we're developing a plan to restore the sewer pipes in the Hamlet District, which are 100 years old and in desperate need of repairs. These pipes have been in the ground since they built the Tuxedo and Tuxedo Park. And those pipes haven't been replaced ever, okay? Rob Dolbaum, again, has replaced hundreds of feet of the pipe. We've camera surveyed most of the system. Roots have invaded most of the pipes. We're developing a plan to reline the pipes and dig up the ones that can't be fixed to end this problem and to make sure the 216 properties that hook up to that sewer plant are protected, okay?
Ken?
Yes,
Can I say one thing?
sure.
When you do that, can you give a spur to my restaurant?
Absolutely.
We're limited-
You were under a building moratorium because of this. And this will remove that building moratorium. And I know you had to install a very expensive septic system to get your new business up and running. Had this been taken care of, you would have been hooked. Your business is, you could almost throw a rock and hit the sewer plant, but you can't hook up to it because of this mess. And let me just say, this isn't a problem just for Tuxedo. This is not only statewide, it's nationwide, that these kind of problems have been left and kicked down the road, but not anymore. We have a plan, and we're gonna get it done. We brought accountability to the town's municipal services, verifying payroll by installing electronic time card system that are required for government audits. Look right behind you there. That's the simplest time clock swipe that you can have. This isn't because we don't trust our employees. It's because it's required for auditing purposes. I'm not here every day, and I have to be able to verify payroll, both also to protect employees in their retirement system, okay? That's why it was done. And it protects making sure that what we pay for is what you get from town employees, that they're here the times that they're supposed to be here. We have good employees, that's not the problem, but it has to be verifiable. And we restored 5 days of service to Town Hall. If you don't remember, we were closed on Fridays for quite a long time. We also got a new roof on this building. Michelle Lindsay fought really hard for this funding, and we added new ADA compliant bathrooms. Go down and look at those new bathrooms down there and downstairs as well. We totally renovated the ramp here. That door now is ADA compliant, and same thing downstairs in the courtroom, all ADA compliant. This room is used by the Silver Dollars that's the Tuxedo Senior Group. They couldn't even get into this building safely. Well, now they can. We brought these town board meetings into the 21st century. In the height of COVID, adding that Zoom technology that was paid for by federal tax dollars, by the way, making it easy to attend meetings, and they're recorded for all to see. Now, that's what I call real transparency. Okay? You hear that word all the time, transparency, transparency. Well, if you don't know what's going on in Town Hall, you didn't bother to turn on the damn TV. You could see everything that's going on here. Marissa Dolbaum records everything we're doing right now. Yeah, you could watch this tomorrow night, but when you're trying to get some extra sleep, you could watch this. Marissa Dolbaum, our town clerk, has totally updated procedures in Town Hall, reorganizing our records, responding to residents' needs, and working hand in hand with the town board. Give that lady a round of applause. And as you just heard, we restored 24/7 police coverage, hiring 4 new experienced police officers just in 2023. A female officer also, by the way. We have 2 officers, we have officers of color. We got them all. This is an equal opportunity police force, okay? We have a new professional police chief, John Trezino, who's preparing Tuxedo for today's world's problems. Unfortunately, guys, Tuxedo is not Mayberry anymore, okay? Crime finds the soft targets, and we must be ready, and we are now. Yeah, and still the roads are being paved, parks are being renovated, and we restored the tennis court and basketball court at Tiki Field. We purchased new heavy equipment for our highway department, and we're awaiting 2 new high-end police cars expected to be delivered any day. So much for the whole procurement process. It ain't easy getting stuff under municipal bids, but we're getting the job done. Our new account clerk, right over there, Carrie Alley, has brought her professional accounting skills. Wait before you clap. You got to hear what she does. Our new account clerk, Carrie Alley, has brought her professional accounting skills and municipal government experience to our fiscal management activities. And I see Brian Sullivan. Where's Brian? Where are you, Brian? Brian, you set me up to help Carrie get into this position. I want to thank you for the years of service, what you did with me. I couldn't have done it without you, so thank you, Brian. We've recovered thousands of dollars in uncollected fees and set up systems that will keep this from happening in the future. As you may know, I'm not seeking re-election. My twin brother Kevin is fighting stage 4 melanoma cancer, which has spread to his spine and lungs. I must refocus my priorities towards my family. I'm thankful for those who came before us, anybody who served. Anyone who's given time in public service should be acknowledged. These members of the town board have proven themselves. I'm proud of my service, and I hope that you will join me in extending a well-deserved thank you to my fellow board members. I've given my last 6 years, I've given you my all, and I know I've left this place in a better place. Okay? And I hope you acknowledge these people, because we've had so many special meetings to get this job done. We don't just come 2 Monday nights a week, 2 Monday nights a month. We've been here countless extra meetings to get this job done for you. It's a freaking tough job, but we've done it, and we hope to continue to do it. Thank you very much. But I ain't done yet. I'm working till December 31st, and I'll work the same now till the end. So thank you.
Bravo, Ken.
If you want to run for the hills now, but we got business to do, and we're going to take care of it. So if you're going to run for the hills, do it now. Thank you. I'll take 5 minutes, but we're going to resume in 5 minutes.
Bravo, Ken.
Thank
We work better when people are watching.
Item, resolution to consider adopting local law tax levy limit override 2024 that we've just had a public hearing about. Number 2, a resolution to schedule a 2024 budget public hearing. 3, the budget modifications. And 4, a resolution to authorize an RFP for sewer and manhole rehabilitation project. Since this agenda was issued, another agenda item has come before the board, a resolution that will be talking about the Hamlet revitalization. I will get into those details in a few minutes. Okay? So first and foremost, any public comment on those agenda items? They're not really all that commentable.
I'm not sure that's a word.
I just coined it. My last name is English, so I can get away with it.
Can I say something?
Irene Denaro, we recognize you. Go ahead.
It's not on agenda items, but I have to say something. I would have been there in person, but I'm not feeling well. And then I had a hard time getting on Zoom for some reason. But I'm glad I caught the important part of your speech, Ken. And I commend you. You have done an incredible job for this town. And the board has worked so hard, and I know that because I attend the meetings. I know what's going on. You know, every organization has movers and shakers, and the 5 of you have been the movers and the shakers for Tuxedo. Bravo.
Thank you, Irene.
You did a great job, all of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Continuing now, resolution to consider adopting the local law on the tax levy. That resolution is on page 2. I will read the resolution. Resolution of adoption, tax levy limit override 2024 fiscal year. Whereas an introductory local law entitled Tax Levy Limit Override 2024 Fiscal Year was introduced before the town board of the town of Tuxedo on September 25th, 2023. And upon notice duly published and posted, a hearing was held on October 23rd, 2023 before the town board. And whereas public discussion was heard at such hearing concerning the merits and environmental significance of said introductory local law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the adoption of the introductory local law entitled Tax Levy Limit Override 2024 Fiscal Year is a Type 2 action and is determined not to have a significant effect on the environment. Be it further resolved that the introductory local law entitled Tax Levy Limit Override 2024 Fiscal Year be and hereby is adopted as Local Law 6 of 2023 of the Town of Tuxedo on October 23rd, 2023. I'll make the motion and ask for a second that the following resolution will be considered for adoption. Can I get a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Jay Reichgott. The discussion is now open to the town board. Any further discussion? I think we had it earlier.
No.
Yeah, good.
No further discussion?
No.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Resolution, item 2, resolution to schedule 2024 budget public hearing. Let me see.
Page 3.
I'll make a motion and ask for a second to schedule the public hearing. No worries. Dale comes to every meeting. She's entitled. To schedule, I'll begin again. Resolution to schedule the public hearing for the 2024 budget workshop. I'll make a motion, ask for a second, to schedule a public hearing for the 2024 budget on Monday, November 13th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Maria May.
And what was that date?
Monday, November 13th, 2023. I have a second. Not a lot to discuss there.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, resolution to approve budget modifications. I'll make a motion, ask for a second in a moment, that the town board of the town of Tuxedo hereby approves the budget modifications contained in the memo dated September 5th, 2023 from Andrew Arias Cooper, which are listed below. I'm not going to read these out loud. These have been on town board members' inboxes again, since September 5th. These are just the recommendations that were made by Andrew Arias. Carrie, you could help me out. I forgot my notes. They're not in front of me, but I believe the $87,000, $630, $87,630 was to accommodate the retirement of police officer Stefan Christian.
That's correct.
And the balances of what was owed him on his vacation and sick time.
That is correct.
Okay. And then from the other category, there's $121,000 for contractual that we appropriated to bring on Fusco Engineering for emergency and temporary building code enforcement and inspections.
That's correct. That was authorized to be spent from fund balance.
And the last modification was just to move money from, to cover the highway personnel who were working on the debris pile. It's not a mulch pile, it's a debris pile,
Sewer.
right? Oh, sewer, excuse me, it was the sewer work, right? Thank you. So that was just basically making sure that the sewer work was billed to the sewer account.
Moving it from contractual to personnel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions by the board members? I don't know if I got a second. I made the motion. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Seconded by Deirdre Murphy. Any further questions from the town board? I think I just explained all of the modifications. So are we good to vote?
Yep.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Resolution number 4. This has to do with the rehabilitation of the Hamlet Sewer District. This is a resolution to authorize an RFP, which is a request for proposals for the sewer and manhole rehabilitation project. Whereas the town is in need of procuring services for the sanitary sewer and manhole rehabilitation project. And whereas the town board has caused a bid package and specifications to be prepared, now therefore be it resolved that the town board determines that the sanitary sewer and manhole rehabilitation project is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act known as SEQR. And be it further resolved that the town board approves the bid package and specifications and authorizes the town clerk, Marissa Dolbaum, to advertise for bids with a bid opening date of Thursday, November 9th, 2020. Seconded by Jay Reichkow. Jay, could you just explain what the basic details are of the RFP?
Sure. So, as you heard before, the sewer system that services the hamlet, East Village, Town Hall,
Promenade.
the promenade, the school, a portion of the Tuxedo Park, the gate and the properties leading up the hill there, is about 100 years or more old. In fact, more than that. A lot of those pipes were put in when the park was built. They suffer from I and I. The two I's are inflow and infiltration.
Can I explain what those are?
Sure.
Inflow is purposeful, clean water, storm water that flows into a pipe. Inflow could be from your downspouts. It could be from, back in the day, stormwater and sanitary water was often diverted into the same pipes. Not anymore. So inflow is planned. Infiltration is these pipes are 100 years old. Roots penetrate the pipes. They're cracked from pressure, from weathering. And so infiltration is not planned. And as you can imagine, these 100-year-old pipes are fraught with infiltration problems. Did I get that right?
That's exactly right.
I'm
So,
practically a sewer engineer. You're gonna miss me. You're gonna miss
We've
me.
all learned.
But
So this
we do have an engineer here.
I am an engineer.
Please.
This RFP is for services to either reline or replace the damaged pipes and repair and seal manholes, because that's the other place where things come in. And it will bring our sewer system up to current standards, which is important in a general sense. It's also important because if water can leak into the sewer pipes, sewage can leak out of the sewer pipes. And you don't want that in your reservoir, in your aquifer. The other very important part of this is that with the new sewer plant coming online, we pay by the gallon. And we pay by the gallon, and, you know, to the tune of something like an extra $30,000 a month, if I'm remembering the
It's
number.
a scary
correctly.
number.
Yeah. So we can spend the money to fix the pipes, or, not to coin a phrase, we can flush the money down the drain. So this RFP addresses the required repairs to the various pipes, the manholes, et cetera. It will go out, there are at least 3 companies who have already expressed interest, and there are more. It is a competitive bid. It will be work that will take multiple years. It will be a pile of money to do it. Some of the money we have already, some of the money we're gonna apply, some of the federal money, the COVID money we got to that. We will probably have to go out to bond a part of it, or there are a lot of grants available through the state and through the feds. So we will, once we have a contract in place, we can start to go after that money. So we will be doing all of that. What we're approving tonight is to release the request for proposals.
We need to get contractors to bid. They need to be municipal bids that have a lot of requirements.
Oh, and I'm sorry, and we added language for what's known as piggybacking. So that once we sign this contract, other municipalities who are local can basically simply add scope. They'll pay for it, we won't pay for it, but they can become part of the contract, which will become important. This is an issue all around us, but very locally, this is a issue in the village of Tuxedo Park. They have the other half of a sewer system that was built at the same time, and they have all of these issues. So it will allow them to do it the easy way, piggyback. We do all the heavy lifting.
Is there a savings to both parties if piggybacking is involved at all, just by virtue of the fact that there's more?
Well, just to get the RFP together, we had to engage our engineers and attorneys because, you know, RFPs are documents similar to this, you know. Municipal contracts require prevailing wage, which basically means union wages. It requires, what else type of things?
I mean, there's a whole,
So many disclaimers.
there's all kinds of disclaimers, and you have to, you know.
Bonding, insurance, you know, that's why smaller projects, like even to do the train station, for example, you know, most of these companies don't even want to touch it because just to put a bid together is so much work for them with no guarantee that they'll get the contract. So this is of such a substantial amount that we are expecting multiple bids. But on smaller kind of projects, so, hey, the good news for the village of Tuxedo Park, we're putting together the RFP, so you will be able to piggyback off of that. So the real benefit is not to the town, but to the village and other municipalities. But it's a requirement, we have to get this done. There's no kicking the can down the road anymore. The DEC and the federally, the EPA, absolutely understand what we're doing, and that's why we've been given as much grace period as we have, because they could see we're taking this seriously, and the little engine of Tuxedo is trying to get the job done, and they recognize it. So, but we don't have an open-ended time frame here. We have to get this done.
Right. And we tried to do this by piggybacking on other contracts, and there weren't appropriate contracts.
They have to, piggybacking means it has to be the same kind of work. Manholes, it can't vary. And so, fortunately for the Village of Tuxedo Park, they basically have the same system. So what we're doing will match up with what they need to do.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Question?
You were mentioning the great expense of this program, so is it fair to say that that will implicate other future businesses, like Steve was mentioning, that right now his system?
Oh, yeah. So Claudia, similar to when we first got on this board, there was a building moratorium because the zoning code wasn't formalized. Well, that was one of the first things we took care of. And that was a big, major project that I didn't even mention in my update. That took us months, okay, of many, many extra meetings. Well, similarly, there's a building moratorium here in the hamlet because the sewer can't accept anything new. So Steve, when he built that amazing, I won't call it a pizza place because it's way beyond that, that gem of a restaurant we have, he had to install a state-of-the-art septic system that cost a lot of money. And it's a standalone system that he has to maintain. Luckily, it's a brand new kind of system. I'm sure he's good for a while. But any of the businesses moving forward need to be able to hook up to the Hamlet sewer system, and we're not there yet.
But it has a great benefit in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess it's my point. Yeah.
It's essential. And a lot of people would ask me, so, hey, Ken, I live in northern Tuxedo. Why should I give, why should I care, let me say, about these 216 properties? Well, first of all, just think of it. If the sewer system fails, 216 properties, including where I'm standing right now, would have to put a sign on the bathroom out of order. Okay, 216 properties at the same time. They all pay property taxes, okay? We can't afford to have that happen, okay? The environment, all the people downstream who drink that water in northern Bergen County. The new sewer plant, this is absolutely true. The water that comes out of the new sewer plant is actually cleaner than the water in the river. It's drinkable. It is drinkable. I am not personally willing to try that, nor if I was an astronaut knowing what I would have to drink out in space. Well, you know, it's not for me, thankfully. The water that I'm actually getting out of our tap, triple filtered, by the way, from Indian Kill, is fine for me and my wife and family. But no, that's a very good point, Ms. Bakhtiari.
People need to know that.
Yes.
And they hear bonds, they go, oh.
Well, Bonds will split the cost over 30 years,
Yeah.
and hopefully the people who are actually using it 20 years from now are helping to pay, not just the people who currently live here now. So bonds are actually a fair way to distribute the cost over many years.
That's all I got, unless
That's all I
there's more
got.
questions.
Um,
All
I
right.
mean, not only town hall, but the library, you know, the school, I mean, you know.
The
there
promenade.
are- Yeah, I mean, so.
Who lives in the hamlet? Raise your hand. Yeah, and this has a lot to do with you. Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the resolution for the RFP. Do I have a
Already made it and
second?
seconded it.
Sorry, you
You
seconded
made it
it?
and I seconded it.
You seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I believe Councilperson Deirdre Murphy and Michelle Lindsay have asked the town board to consider another resolution, and I'm not sure I have it in front of me.
Yeah, I know, I thought I had it.
Okay.
I can read it if you'd like.
I'd be happy to read it, no
Okay.
problem. So this is a resolution, if you haven't paid attention, well, shame on you. But Councilperson Lindsay and Deirdre Murphy, councilpersons, have been really working hard to try to magnify a plan that was put forward,
20 years.
known as the Burgess study. That, how long ago was that?
20 years.
20 years ago, like so many things in Tuxedo, everything has decades behind it, okay? So with the new revitalization and the rekindling of the Tuxedo Farms project, obviously, we're a town poised to grow. And we're looking to come up with a plan that builds on that Burgess study and kind of updates it. We did ask the Burgess people to update the plan, and they did. And we had some spirited discussions back and forth about that. And now we're coming back with a revised we're trying to put together a request for proposals that would get, maybe I can ask you, Deirdre, to
Okay.
explain it, please.
So the proposal would be for an RFP to go out and interview specifically firms that can do planograms, and I'll explain what that is. A planogram is a detailed schematic of an overall space. So if you were in a retail store, if you go down an aisle and you see exactly where everything is, that's a planogram. If you go down a street and you look at that street and you want to see where the lights go, where the plant goes, how wide the sidewalk is, that's a planogram. So a planogram is a specific guide that can help people visualize what something is going to look like. And one of the things that we have come across by talking to many of the residents and many of the town businesses is that they don't see it. So they like certain parts, but they don't understand what things are going to look like. So we're proposing that we go out and interview engineering firms that have the skill set of landscape architects who can give us planograms, and to be able to, once we get the buy-in or not of the people within the village and within the whole town, by prioritizing what is the most important things for us to move forward with, being able to use that same firm that would be able to go to the next steps with action steps to complete those drawings with engineering drawings as necessary, not necessarily always, surveys as necessary, but not always. So it enables us to apply for the many funds that are now available on the state and local level. And right now, we have been encouraged by Senator Skoufis's office, by the economic development places that we have talked to in Orange County, as well as the state, that we have a very good shot at getting the monies. And just to give you an example, this year alone, Port Jervis got a $10 million grant. Cornwall got $4.5 million, and Tarrytown got $4.5 million. So we believe that with a strong plan, we'll be able to apply, but there are three things that are absolutely necessary, and we've been told this. One is we have to have a plan. Being able to say, oh, wouldn't it be nice? We need lights, we need sidewalks. It doesn't work. You need to be able to say why you need things, what is the benefit to the residents, why we should do these things, and how it's going to benefit the lifestyle and the best interest of the town. And ultimately, how it's going to help with economic development for businesses. The second thing we have to have, and one of the things for these grants, whether it's New York Forward or it's the Downtown Initiative, also by New York State, you have to have buy-in. And we have to establish a committee of people within the town who are able to help to steer this forward, because that is also a very important part of the application process. The application process takes months, as does finding the right engineering firm, which is why we're pushing, Michelle and I are pushing, for it to be approved now so we can start the process. So as we hit 2024, we have something in place that we can start to actively move on. So that's basically an overview, and anybody with any questions.
Well, let me read the resolution, if I
Okay.
may, so that we can formally put it before the
Okay.
town board. Whereas the public has been engaged with town board presentations that outline opportunities for Hamlet revitalization, and whereas town board members have explored opportunities, engaged the interest and assistance for the town's next steps for revitalization, traffic calming, and pedestrian safety, with New York State Senator Skoufis, New York State Assemblyman Brabenec, Orange County Departments of Planning, Economic Development and Tourism and Film, Orange County Partnership, the New York State Department of Transportation, and the MTA. And whereas town board members have educated themselves as to funding sources by attending meetings and webinars conducted by county departments and Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council to learn about the New York Forward program and other grant opportunities. And whereas the next steps to be taken by the board will require, the outlay of public funds to prepare plans suitable for public review and board approval for submission to regulatory authorities, funding sources, and collaborative state and county government agencies as follows. The preparation of a master conceptual planogram by an engineering firm to include landscape concept drawings by a licensed landscape firm, B, parking enhancements, C, streetscape design and enhancements, D, pedestrian safety and circulation. And then it goes on to say, now therefore on a motion, the town board authorizes the planner and town attorney to specify and prepare an RFP as may be required to engage the professional firms needed to accomplish a master planogram. I'd like to make that motion and ask for a second. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Michelle Lindsay. The discussion is now open to the town board. I'd like to begin by questioning, but also just restating my understanding. So what we're here to approve this, or to consider for approval this evening, is the authorization for the town planner and the town attorney to develop an RFP similar to RFPs that we've done for other projects, that basically sets the scope of that these firms would bid on, based around these 4 major principles of A, B, C, and D, that also build off what we've learned from the Burgess study. And
town meetings.
And town meetings, of course, and all the investigations and that you have been doing, and other town board members have been engaged with you. So that's what we're voting on here tonight. Nothing more than the authorization for the RFP, because that is the first step, right?
Correct.
Deidre?
Yes.
To move this forward.
Yeah.
So that's, if I understood that correctly, then that was the end of my comment and question, and I'm obviously open to other town board members.
I'd just like to add that this is based on the comprehensive plan that was developed in the early 2000s, and that's when the Burgess study was also included in the comprehensive plan, and the comprehensive plan was updated and approved again in 2018, and since then, many people from the audience have been participating in public meetings to brainstorm, along with Bill Fioravanti back in the early days, to identify our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the SWOT analysis. And so many stakeholders were participating in those meetings. And I thank everyone, because finally, after all these years, we are finally at the point to move forward. And I'm very excited about what that can do for the downtown. We do have, as you stated, the LDC monies that are basically given by Lennar, the developer at Tuxedo Farms, to basically help them sell their project. If the downtown looks attractive, and it looks like a place people will want to come and live, it makes their job of selling their project that much easier. So that's the purpose of those funds. It's stated in the LDC formation that those are the purposes. So we can move this forward.
Maria, anything?
No, I have nothing negative to say. I think this looks like a good plan to me.
I just want to make sure that I understand the scope of this RFP. This is going to give us the conceptual master plan. This is not going to give us shovel-ready engineering plans that we need to go to actually bid for a project.
Correct.
Or go for a grant.
Because we decided that we would need to prioritize, based on the master conceptual plan and getting feedback from focus groups and talking to the people within the town, that we needed to prioritize what those things are. And in some cases, we do need engineering drawings, in other cases, we don't. So
That'll evolve from.
that evolves from basically honing in and prioritizing a master plan. The issue here is most important, is finding the right partner in terms of an engineering firm who could bring this forward and be able to get us the funds that we want. So we have identified engineering firms that have been successful in being able to bring these plans forward and getting monies from state and local and even federal grants. So it's not, it needs to have a flow in terms of from the beginning to the end, and you need to have the right partners. And, Michelle and I believe, have gone as far as we can, although we still need to do the second workshop, which is the west side. But as far as we can, by pulling together pictures from the websites and things like that, but we need now an expert. We need experts to come in and tell us, yes, you actually can put lights on downtown. No, you cannot put trees downtown. So we need people who are experts in that and have relationships with the DOT, the MTA, and also all of the people who actually give out the money. We need to have relationships with them. So this is really about a starting place and being able to educate our residents on ideas and vision for moving forward.
So one question I would just have, as they develop this RFP, we're town planner being Nelson Pope and a town attorney being Jacobowitz and Gubitz. I would imagine they would share a draft before we actually issue the RFP so that everything that you're hoping that would be in there would just be reviewed and just make sure that your RFP, because once you launch it, it has to
Be
stay
tight.
there.
Well,
Yes.
Deirdre and I will be working on the scope, or helping
Right.
to
Yeah.
the town planner and the attorney to understand the scope of what we're looking.
I will tell you that one thing Lennar said to me, because when I was first starting this, my thought was the town planner should do this. And we went to all the Lennar sites in New Jersey and met with the people who are actually planning Tuxedo Farms. And my background is really, business development, product development. So I sort of thought that a town planner should do just that, should plan what the town does. And Lennar said to both of us, no, that is the town's job. The planner is supposed to facilitate the vision of the people of the town. And so that is what we're trying to work on now, is how does the town feel we should move forward, and what is the vision of moving forward? And the town planner is there to help us facilitate that plan.
And we'll keep going back and forth with the DOT and Senator Skoufis's office as we develop this plan. Just yesterday, I received another email from Senator Skoufis's office asking where we stand with this because they're interested in funding a portion of it. So, they're on top of it. They want to keep apprised of our progress in developing a plan, and the DOT as well. Department of Transportation, sorry.
Well, I've learned a lot. I'm comfortable. I don't have any further questions. Does anybody else on the board have any further questions?
I'm good.
Are we ready to
Do
vote?
we have any? Yes.
I've been here since 1980, and my experience has been, we just kind of let things happen. And I think a better way of going is you plan to make things happen. And that's why I think having a plan is a very good thing. I'm glad to see that you talked about it.
Well, there's two things. There's a way to approach a problem that is a reactive way, where you react, and there's a proactive way. I too believe very strongly that we should have a proactive plan on how we want our town to go forward.
So on that note, are we ready to vote?
Yes. Yep.
Do a roll call vote. Deidre Murphy?
Aye.
Maria May?
Aye.
Michelle Lindsay?
Aye.
Jay Reichcott?
Aye.
Ken English? Aye. Passes unanimously. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
Yay.
I just wanted to, I had my hand raised before. I'm a new resident of a fairly new resident of Tuxedo. And I'm absolutely thrilled with Deidre's presentation. I applaud Deidre and Michelle for all the work you're doing to try to develop a plan to attract new retail and businesses and help with the dire need to revitalize the town. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Portnoy. Okay, so we've dealt with all the agenda items. We did have a discussion item on the agenda, daylight savings energy audit.
I'll get my stuff up here.
I do have it. I gotta confess, I just received it and really haven't had a chance to read it.
Okay, I can do a little executive summary if you want.
Sure.
I try to find it.
You can
Sorry.
use this if you
Oh,
like.
thanks. Okay, so we had engaged Daylight Savings Company to come down and do an energy audit of Town Hall. And the main reason why this is of utmost importance right now is that our boiler is 36 years old. So I think when this town was converted to, or this building was converted to Town Hall, that's when that happened. So we need to replace it, and so we thought it makes sense to see if there's a more energy efficient way to heat the building. And that's the purpose of this report. And the bottom line is this executive summary, when you get a chance to look at it again. So the cost of a geothermal ground source heat pump for heating and cooling, in addition, adding on a solar facility, which I don't think we have to do, but it does apply, or I'm sorry, is eligible for federal tax credits, which is a new thing in the last 2 years, that municipalities can directly get that money back. Used to be that it was an advantage for a company to get the tax credits, a company that would actually install the geothermal. That company would be able to get the tax credits. They've changed it so the municipality gets that money directly. And that's a new thing. So the geothermal ground source heat pump is what they're recommending. So I think if you could take a look at that, it looks like the payback period is 11 years, but it will last for 25 years. It's sort of the bottom line. But
Did you share this with us? I mean, do we have a copy of
It
it or
was
no?
distributed by email, but I think it was
Yes.
just very recently.
Yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
remember
So if you
seeing it,
haven't
but
had a chance
it could
to
be
review
that
it,
it was today, yeah.
it's
I didn't see it.
understandable.
no, it was
There-
last Wednesday, I
There's been a
think,
couple of
but.
days,
Oh, it's
but
been a couple of days.
But it, I mean, obviously, it just came up and we decided since time is of the essence, as winter is approaching, that's why we decided to put it as a discussion item tonight. But certainly we can
Well,
discuss
it
it
definitely
again.
needed to be on the discussion item, because as you said, this 36-year-old system could fail at any time. They don't fail, they usually fail on the coldest days or the hottest days. And it's no reason, it's not a joke, it's because it's working overtime, and that's when they break down.
Yeah,
So-
but the one thing I did want to say is I had asked John Buell, who was the auditor, to come tonight. He wasn't able to come tonight. So I'm kind of giving you a little brief summary, and then we can always have him come the next meeting.
I have
that
to
we
admit,
have.
I was really surprised with geothermal as a solution.
Yeah.
I really was. I thought that was, to be honest with you, pretty radical.
well, this isn't like Iceland magma
Yeah.
heated stuff, geothermal. It's a heat pump, which is basically like an air conditioner, but you can run it both ways, right?
I have one.
A heat pump,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Your heat pump uses the air as
It uses
its,
the air outside.
outside as
Yeah.
its heat source and its
Yeah.
heat sink.
Yeah.
The geothermal puts several, they call them wells, but they're not really wells. They're shafts into the ground with a heat exchanger 500 something feet in the earth where it's always 55 degrees. And,
Okay,
and
so it's
a
sort of like a
huge-
artesian well kind of concept.
It's like a preheater, so it brings it
Yeah.
up to the 55,
So
or
it-
cools it down.
So you get 55-degree water, which is plenty cold enough to run your air conditioning.
Okay,
And when you're looking for heat, it has 55-degree, an unlimited supply of 55-degree
but
water.
easy to heat.
Yeah, then you
It
only
it
bring
sucks the
down.
heat out, no, it uses that and it sucks the heat out of it,
Okay,
okay? But instead of trying to do, your your heat pump in the middle of winter is trying to work on
works over.
20-degree air.
Yeah.
This is working on
55.
55, it's a significant improvement.
Yeah.
These systems can be 300 or 400% efficient in terms of how much heat you get out versus how much energy you put in.
Oh, that's interesting. So let me ask you this. So if you were to put a system like geothermal into a building like this,
Mhm.
how much more does it cost initially? Not in terms of long-term, but initially, if you were to weigh both of them, putting in a traditional heating system in, a furnace, versus an air conditioning system, versus geothermal? And what would the benefit be, in your point of view, of using a geothermal system?
Well,
So-
may I just kind
Yeah.
of say, as far as the cost goes, it's a payback, the savings and everything that you take into consideration is 11 years. So the initial cost, net of all the federal tax credits, with a solar, would be 145,000.
Okay.
But the savings, pay you back over, in 11 years.
The costs of installing one of these geothermal heat pumps are comparable to installing a new,
Oh,
fuel
okay,
fire.
that was, yeah. So
There.
this
And that's-
makes complete sense to me then,
And,
because I didn't know that,
yeah, and the benefits moving forward
are significantly
are
better.
significant because you use significantly less
Energy.
input. I mean, and then if you care about such things, piling on the environmental benefits,
thing.
right, you're not,
Yeah.
you're,
It's much safer for the
all
environment.
of the above. You're not burning oil or
Yeah.
putting carbon
I
into the
forget what
air.
it's called, those three letters that they.
What kind of energy does it run on?
Electricity.
Electricity?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for free. You still have to
Right,
power
right,
it.
yeah. I figured, but I wasn't sure.
But, then,
But you're
Um,
not using natural gas.
right.
Right.
And the price of oil and gas is not getting any cheaper.
No, true. Well,
Um,
yeah.
So the boring of these wells
Mhm.
in this granite-infused environment, is that a factor as to drilling down?
No.
No.
I mean, I was looking at putting a system like this in for my house, which I haven't done yet. And I asked the same question, and they said, it doesn't matter where you are, we're going down 500, 700 feet after the first 20 feet max is gonna be rock anyway. They just,
Right.
Yeah.
they just
right.
drill.
That's why I was asking about a well. I've done it with a well.
It's the
Had to
same-
go
it's-
really- Yeah, I had to
it's
go
the s-
700 feet. I
Right.
mean, yeah.
Now, this is
Yeah.
completely sealed, it's a contained system. We're not pulling groundwater, we wouldn't be. It's just a hole that's then filled with concrete after the equipment goes in. I was a little surprised when I read this. and
So,
I-
I'm sorry, we're not drawing groundwater or anything, but there's a fluid passing through it that is heated by contact with the ground?
Exactly. There's a big coil of pipe down there in the ground, and I don't know exactly what the fluid is. Usually it's, water with some kind of antifreeze in it.
Right. Okay.
All of the recommendations that these guys gave so far that are equipment modifications, right? We know we need a new furnace, we need a boiler. This is our recommendation. They recommended taking these beautiful lights out and putting LED lights in. I thought that they were gonna also be looking at building improvements, right?
Windows?
Yes,
Going to windows, insulation, and none of that's in here yet, so I don't know if there's a second half of this coming, or,
That's what I'm assuming, that there is, but since he wasn't available to be here tonight, and, you know, I forwarded that question to him, so I hope to get an answer soon.
Well, since no Rock's here, since the report just came through, and it's not exactly 3 pages, it's 50-odd pages, I would suggest for our next meeting that we do our best to read it.
Yeah.
And, because I don't know what I don't know. And we'll get our questions together, and if you could schedule
Yes,
this
definitely.
gentleman. I'll just make sure that the agenda is between the budget stuff, just so
I
we have it
know,
there.
I
But
know, it's so
we'll move it
busy.
forward.
Is November 13th, but then the next one is the 27th?
Well, we've been a board that's accommodated all kinds of things. Let's see how that happens, okay? So, can I just table this for the next meeting?
Yeah,
And,
there was just a discussion, to
right.
just open it up.
Okay.
And then,
I do want to remind the town board, there's a confidential meeting we need to have in an executive session to discuss a potential legal settlement on a pending lawsuit with the town. Is that sufficient enough information that I could put out there to go into executive session?
Yes, I believe so.
so the only thing I'm gonna say is, in the interest of these people not sitting around here
Right.
waiting on us, do we wanna get through, before we go into an executive session, do we wanna get through,
I'm fine with that, okay?
you know,
Yeah.
the rest of the,
We've done a lot of it.
yeah, but updates and
Yeah.
minutes and that kind of
Okay,
stuff.
hopefully we, can keep your updates brief, otherwise we're here longer, but do the best you can. I'm not gonna cut anybody off. All right, so, in our packet, we are on page 5.
4.
Mine says 5, let's find 4.
Your update.
I did my update. You guys, you forgot it already?
Well, I was thinking everybody
I'm
else,
gonna do it again.
everybody else's updates.
It's recorded. Hey, it took me 6 years. I think I earned that 8 minutes.
We have, yes, we have department updates, and then I don't know if the town
I'm gonna
board-
go to minutes to try to get this moving.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, ask for a second, to accept the minutes of the regular bi-monthly town board meeting held on October 11th. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I heard Maria, okay. Any additions, edits, submit to Marissa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vouchers.
Wait, just show that I'm abstaining, because I wasn't here last
Okay,
last
he
time.
abstained, he wasn't here. That's right. Vouchers, below are the vouchers totaling $5,000 or greater. I'm gonna read the claim numbers. Claim numbers 201, 292, 2266 through 201, 292, 22328. I'll make a motion, ask for a second, that the following vouchers having been ordered by the town board are hereby approved for payment. I made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Michelle Lindsay. So those the ones over $5,000, many of the recurring ones, IWS, 32,000 and change. The replacement of the radar trailer, we did get that money from the insurance company. Silver Dollars reimbursement for 2023 expenses. Bulldozer rental for the dirt pile. Fusco Engineering, the monthly payment. Night shift police benefits, $91,000 a month. Benestar, that's a month, Carrie?
That's 2 months.
2 months, thank you. Retiree health, and into IBEW, medical highway, $13,440. Those are the ones over $5,000. Any further discussion by the town board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Vouchers are done. I'll go back to department updates. Marissa, I think you said you were gonna wait for yours. Okay. Carrie, did you have anything you wanted to add? Thank you. I did my supervisor's update, town board updates. I'll start from my left. Jay, do you want to go?
Yeah, I won't bore you with all the stuff I was doing. It was mostly sewer RFP and some other stuff, but let me put my Boy Scout hat on. The bears are out and they're hungry. Put your bird feeders away and feed your dog inside and lock up your garbage. Those things are big and they will eat your face.
Eagerly waiting for them to go to sleep.
Yep.
So we shouldn't leave
20,000
Halloween candy right outside the door?
20,000 calories a day is what a black bear needs to eat. That's a lot of bugs, berries. Barbecue grills, they like that grease cup on the, hanging off the side of your barbecue grill. So, that's all I got.
Okay.
Just quickly, the Community Choice Aggregation Program, we are in the process of getting bids from companies. We joined a consortium upstate, and this is the bulk buying program for electricity. And it is, we have the town of Tuxedo and the village of Tuxedo Park are both participating. So we hope to have prices to present to the public soon.
All right, I'm going to repeat, no, I'm not. I just want to remind people that this Saturday, October 28th, from 2 to 3:30, Deputy Supervisor Jay Reichgott and I will be leading a tour and information session on the wastewater treatment plant. And that's at 45 Contractors Road. You go down Contractors Road, which is between the ambulance corps and the fire department. Just go to the end, follow your nose, you'll find the sewer treatment plant, no worries. That's the old one. The new one is actually amazing. So Jay Reichgott and I, and Michelle Lindsay, we do make up the Tuxedo Farms Local Development Board. So we will be hosting that information session. So anybody who lives in the hamlet and you don't show up, I'm kind of wondering why. This is the most important thing to your property values that you could possibly imagine. So, you know, we're working hard for you. We want to share the information. So come on down. Maria?
So I want to thank Kathleen and Marissa and Lori and all the volunteers that showed up on Saturday for our first fall festival.
I was there.
And it was interesting. There were a couple of younger people there, like, you know, not kids, but, you know, they were like, the town does this? This is really cool, you know? So I think it was great because, you know, it was rainy. It's been raining every weekend, so, you know, but it came off, I think it came off really well.
It did.
And I think that people had fun and there were interesting, fun things to do and good food.
Well, Maria, I want to thank you because I know you really spearheaded this and were involved with hiring Kathleen. And that's just one event of many, but it came off really well considering especially the sun finally came out. And I'm going to attribute that to you.
Yeah,
So,
I was
thank you
praying
for
the
your
whole
call.
entire
Can we
night.
get a round of applause for everybody that helped us?
All the volunteers, everybody who helped, and also people who came. I think folks like in the school had their own, the TPO brought their popcorn machine, and they were, you know, fun kids playing around and face painting and all this stuff. And on the 29th, at Powerhouse Park at 2 o'clock, we have a trunk or treat. So if you don't get too many trick-or-treaters in your house, but you want to do trick-or-treat, you can bring your car and, you know, decorate it kind of fun and, you know, have kids, you know, do trick-or-treating off of your car. And it's at 2 to 4 o'clock. And if you are interested, anybody, you can let Kathleen know and she'll, you know, we have some volunteers, but we could also use more. So, and that's the 29th, Sunday at 2 o'clock.
So just to go back to the fall festival, so speaking with the library, we really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to have a community outreach at the event. So I couldn't attend, but I know you really appreciate it.
Oh, our library was so amazing. They had so many volunteers. People were learning about Libby. You know, it was great. And the pollination meadow was there too. And they had like, you know, bunches of things and things for the kids to do. Yeah, cupcakes.
Then you have more outreach for the organizations and fun as well. So it's not just having fun, it's also outreach.
Yes,
For
right.
us, giving us the opportunity to.
PTO,
Yeah,
I think.
our police department was here and our fire, you know, and it was fun for the kids to
Town
see
board.
how, the town board,
Town of Tuxedo, I should say, not.
the Historical Society. Yeah, it was really great. If you go on, I think the town Facebook page has pictures, and also my Facebook page has pictures. And the barbecue truck, food trucks are really hard to get for a small town. So it was like, yay for, I think, Kathleen, and we like twisted some arms. But it was definitely good food, so. And
Deidre, did you want to?
Oh, the only thing I have is like to schedule the second workshop for the west side of Tuxedo. We have a presentation which shows current situation and concepts. This is all so that we can develop a very tight brief for an RFP. And this way we can, to be honest with you, we did the last survey, and things I thought were a complete shoo-in weren't, and things that I didn't think were going to be that enthusiastically embraced were. So it's so critical to get feedback from everybody so that we can actually put that in front of somebody who's really going to be doing the designing. So,
I'd also like to thank everybody who sent in letters.
yeah.
We had letters from the first presentation as well as this presentation. So and surveys are still available. The presentation was recorded, and is it up on our YouTube? Okay. And what would people look for? What would the title be?
I think it was called Hamlet Workshop. Let me just double check.
I think it was October, let's get the date. Maybe it goes by the date. October 2nd.
12:30.
Tuxedo Hamlet Beautification Workshop.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's up on the,
Believe it or not, some people actually sat through it because they wrote letters.
yeah.
By the way, I'm sorry, you guys, it's 12:30 to 2:30. And the other thing that I forgot to tell you is that we started a chair yoga class at this building for seniors. The one in the library gets filled immediately. So this one is getting filled as well. And also, we're working with the high school to start a basketball league. And Ani's son, who's the basketball coach at Tuxedo Public School System, he said he's looking forward to doing something like this because then the kids can practice a little bit before the season starts. And so we're working on that. Kathleen is working on that.
Do you guys have a date that you suggested?
Well, let's see, we have the 13th is the board. I mean,
Last time I think you did
the,
a special meeting, didn't you?
Yeah, we
should
did,
do
because
a
we didn't want to,
special.
yeah. We
You
didn't
have a
want to
date in
interrupt.
mind?
No, I was basically hoping that we could all just look at our calendars real quick, and of course.
How
I'll
about
plan.
November 6th?
That
It's a
works.
Monday?
Works for me.
Also, I just want to mention that.
Or is that going to be
That's the
too?
day before
Yeah,
election
yeah,
day.
no, I
They're
just
gonna be,
realized they're going to be.
Yeah, no.
set.
I can't do it that day
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
this room will be getting set up for election day. Okay, so the 8th, day after?
That's a Wednesday?
Yeah.
November
Well, we have
8th.
to have time to be able to get the word out, too. So, what's the date?
15th is fine?
15th?
Okay. 7 PM?
Yep.
What, could you remind me the event name?
So the 15th is the regularly scheduled Village of Tuxedo Park Board of Trustees meeting.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, thank you.
So what about, what is that, a Wednesday?
Yeah.
The 16th. Thursday.
Good, a Thursday?
I'm not available on the 16th,
Okay, what about
but
the
you don't
day?
necessarily need me.
No, you should be there.
How about if November 18th, that Monday, we don't have board meeting, right? The 20th?
That's, the
20th.
final
Thanksgiving.
budget is due that day, and I'm
Oh,
not
that'll
exactly
be
sure
crazy.
what we still need to accomplish.
What is the day before the Tuxedo trustee?
Tuesday, the 14th.
Yeah, 14th. Something about that.
When is the town planning?
That's
Yeah,
town
I think that's a
planning?
planning board.
Okay.
That's planning board day.
No, it's
No,
the
I think it's the
7th.
first Tuesday now.
It's the
right?
first, yeah, they changed it to the first Tuesday. In fact, I know that because It is
Even
the
though that's
7th.
election day. I
They're
don't know
having
why
it in the court.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because they
Right.
did talk about that, having it on election
They're having
day.
it
They're
on
having it-
election day?
They're
They
having
are
it
in the
downstairs.
They are having it on election day.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
they want to move forward.
one of those
Bring it in
two,
the courtroom.
one of those two events might get a bump in attendance because they're being,
So then the 14th
Same
would be okay.
Yeah, for me, the 14th is
yep,
okay.
okay.
Did we say a date? I'm sorry, did you just,
November
November 14th.
7
It's
o'clock?
a Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
And remind me, I think I just asked this, but I don't know if
14?
you said what the name of the meeting was again?
Hamlet Revitalization and
Beautification.
Beautification Workshop.
Okay.
At 7?
7 PM.
Is that it? Because we still have this executive session.
Yep, that's it for me.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that the town board adjourn into a executive session for advice from counsel related to a pending lawsuit. Do I have a second?
I'll second, still second that.
Seconded by Maria May. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the town board will reconvene after our executive session. I have no idea how long that will take. You're welcome to stay. But we need to do our job and continue.
Do you
Thank you.
anticipate taking, Ken, do you
Please, Mary, repeat your question?
do you anticipate taking any actions?
I can't say. I cannot say. I don't know. Depends on the town board. All right, I'd like to make a motion to reconvene the regular town board meeting scheduled for October 23rd, reconvening at 9:58 PM. So, an executive session under advice of counsel, Ms. Lauren Scott of J&G Jacobowitz and Gubitz, after having gone to to federal court, the lawsuit of Erwin D. Marino Trucking versus the town of Tuxedo. The town board has agreed to settle for the amount of money that was determined through mediation, which is $350,000 to be paid to Erwin D. Marino within 30 days of full execution of this agreement. I would like to point out that the town board looks forward to the opportunity to explain this action at a future date. And that along with this agreement, Mr. DiMarino has been forced to remove any of his materials that are not only on the highway site, but the real concern is over at the wastewater treatment plant. There was an encroachment on town property to the tune of more than 50 feet with all kinds of tires and nasty garbage on our property, which he has been forced to remove. So there'll be further explanation about this. And it's with a heavy heart that I'm willing to sign off on this $350,000 payment to Erwin D. Marino. So I'd like to make a motion to execute this settlement agreement. And I'll ask for a roll call vote. I'll second the motion, and then I'll just ask for the approval. Jay Reichcott?
Aye.
Michelle Lindsay?
Aye.
Maria May?
Aye.
Deirdre Murphy?
Aye.
And myself, Ken English, aye. Anything else you wanted to add, Amy, to this? Did I do it properly? Are we good?
I think you're good. You did that well.
Thank you. So,
Who seconded it?
Who was the second?
I believe it was Jay.
Okay, it was me.
Yeah.
Michelle and I kind of went after it at the same time.
Okay.
It was dual approval, a duel of dual approval. All right, so I will be signing this after further consultation with our attorney. I expect to execute this no later than Friday, October 27th. Okay, that's it. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 10:02 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Maria May. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much.